Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm very excited about this video today. I can't lie, because I'm going to be talking to you about some professional grade tools that are really going to help you invest like a pro and trade like a pro as well. If you recall, in January, we did a collaboration with Fineco Bank. And in that first video, which is this one, by the way, go and watch it so you've got the grounding and the foundation you need for this video. But we talked about the fact that they have a multi-currency bank account that you can open. It's completely free. And from that account, you can invest and trade, and they give you professional level tools. This is what we're going to talk about today. So if you want to up your game with research, access to data, and you want to invest and trade like a pro, this video is definitely for you. So let's get going. Okay guys, so seriously, if you've not watched the first video, go and watch that video before you watch this, or just go and watch it after you've watched this video. But you're going to need to get the foundation in terms of the introduction to this, okay? So Fineco Bank are an Italian bank. They've been in the UK now for a number of years. They're looking to grow their business out here. Now, one of the great things that I like about them is because it allows you to trade and invest from one account. And I have to stress this, the account is free. The tools that I'm going to show you today are also free. You get that as part of the account. And the way I would liken this is I've worked for investment houses in the past, right? And investment houses will use things like Bloomberg terminals. And Bloomberg terminals are professional grade tools. So the professionals use this to manage large sums of money. What Fineco have essentially done when we get into the power desk is essentially provide something that is on par with a Bloomberg terminal. And trust me, guys, you buy flats and houses for the amount that they pay to use a Bloomberg terminal. They have essentially got that equivalent into a retail package for you to invest like a professional. And the stuff that I'm going to show you today is going to be really good. It's going to help you make better decisions. You can access data. I always talk about doing your research, right, when you're investing. Well, this is going to give you access to data, to news, to tweets, to all kinds of stuff to help you make the best decisions possible, particularly if you are interested in trading and if you're interested in investing in stocks and, you know, looking at futures and options and commodities and Forex, for example, as well. This is a really great tool. I have to say as well, just to point this out, they are also giving away 100 free trades as well if you use the link that is going to be in the description and pinned to the comment section. So let's talk about some of the costs that are associated with this, because the accounts are free, the tools are free. However, when you actually go to trade US stocks, for example, or trade on commodities or futures or FX, then clearly there are going to be some fees. So this is their fee page at this point in time. So if you're looking to, you know, trade US or European stocks and ETFs, it's £3.95. A lot cheaper than the likes of people like Hargreaves Lansdown, for example, who will be charging you £11.95 for this. I mentioned that in the first video as well. And this is in dollars, guys. So in the dollar amount, by the time you convert that to pounds, I think that's going to be around about maybe £2.80. It's a fixed commission as well. You can see the other fees that you have. If you're looking at UK shares and ETFs, it's £2.95. So make sure that you're familiar with the cost of this, because you are going to carry some cost. They are cheaper, but they are not completely free in terms of the fees that you have to pay when doing this, okay? Now, let's get into my account, because I've opened my account with them and I just basically want to show you a couple of things. So like I said, you can bank, invest, and trade from the same place. And again, in that first video, I gave you a very brief overview of what it looks like on their website right here. So I'm not going to really focus too much here, but I will highlight a couple of things. So if I go to markets, essentially, this gives you access to different indexes around the world. So let's just go, I wanted to trade shares. And by the way, you can trade futures, you can trade options, ETFs, you've got bonds there as well. You've got CFDs and CFD effects as well, which is pretty new. I'm going to focus in this video on shares. So let's just say I wanted to have a look at the UK markets. And by the way, guys, you have to register for the market. So for me, I had to answer a couple of questions to be able to have access to all of the data that I've got here on this site right now for the UK and the US markets. If I wanted to trade sort of the German market, then I'll have to enable this. And when I enable this, it will mean that I have to basically go and answer some questions essentially. So just be mindful of that. Depending on the market that you want to trade, you're going to have to pass some tests essentially. Very, very simple tests, but they just need to know that they've actually covered that with you from a compliance point of view. So let me just get back up here and go back to the UK market, because that's where we want to focus our attention for this video. Now, I'm just going to pick, let's pick Aviva, right? So if you wanted to trade Aviva, you can click on this right here, and this is going to give you kind of like the charts. Now, notice some of the information you've got at the top. So obviously you've got a summary, which gives you, you can go 1 month here to see how it's actually doing. You can see some volumes as well in here. You can go a year-to-date view. And you've also got, further charts within this as well. So you can actually zoom in. You can have a look at a certain event. You can compare. You can have a look at chart types as well. So do you want bars, for example? You can move and do the bars in here. This is all available on the website. So even if you didn't want to use the Power Desk, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which is an elaboration of this, so you've got access to more things, then you can just sit on the website and do this. But the Power Desk is really where it's at. It's beautiful. It really, really is. So you've got that information there. Then you've got analysis as well, which is obviously very, very important. You can have a look at some of the resistance, some of the supports and things like that. You can have a look at the bid and the ask price for this particular stock right now. Then you've got news associated with it as well. So any relevant news, you've got that. You've got indicators as well, which you can also have a look at too. Now, within the summary, if you wanted to, you can pull up the complete data sheet, and this will give you financial information, so on and so forth. So you're accessing quite rich data here. But what I want to do is, alongside the consensus, which you can see, which is, what's the rating? What's the sentiment? I mean, today, is it a buy? Is it a hold? Is it a sell? Is it a strong sell? What's the sentiment? What is the market actually thinking? What are the professionals thinking? This gives you access to this kind of data, okay? So really, really good. You can also run reports as well. So you can have a look at income statements, you can have a look at balance sheets, cash flow statements. You can also look at the quarterly ones as well, because that's annual at the top here. But what I really want to show you is I want to show you the Power Desk. Now, Power Desk is professional grade. I mean, I've worked in the industry for a while. This is what professional people use. Now, there's probably only one thing that I would say that maybe could be better about the Power Desk, but it's made more for function than it is for form. And that is that when you first approach it, it might seem a bit daunting. It's not as aesthetically pleasing as you probably would maybe expect from Fineco, but it's built for function and not mainly form. So if I just toggle over to my other screen right here. All right, so this is the Power Desk. And like I've said, guys, this is built for function more than it is aesthetic. So it's gonna be really, really daunting, because you can see there are things lighting up as prices are moving, so on and so forth. And I'm shooting this at 8:53 in the morning. So as we get past 9 o'clock, this is gonna get a little bit busier with companies starting to trade properly in opening hours. Now, what I think is really important is to acknowledge what you can access using the Power Desk and the markets and how it's all laid out. So if you just click on here, you've got the UK market, so UK equities, which is, the FTSE 100, FTSE 250. Then you've got American shares, you've got the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, you've got the TSX, which is Canada. Then you've got European stocks, and you've got all of those companies listed, those markets or indexes listed there as well. You've got CFD shares across those markets. You've got CFD others, indexes, bonds. You've got commodities as well. This is the Forex, and this is what I'm saying. They've got so many currency pairs which you can actually trade. This is obviously more active as trading is happening right now. But everything that I'm going to show you on here, you can do across whichever market, whichever option you decide to invest or trade on a daily basis. So you've got options in here as well. You've got CFD logos, you've got futures, you've got bonds as well that you can also trade. For this video, though, we're going to be focusing on the UK equities, because that's the market that is currently open. So let's just go on to the FTSE 100. Now, other things that are worthwhile bearing in mind here is down here you've got a news feed, okay? Now, the news feed is really, really important because it gives you live, up-to-date news. So if you are researching a stock, where you're going to get your news from, you need to have live data, right? So this is real time. This is an article posted at 8:59. In fact, there's 3 or 4 there. So you're getting by the minute news. You've also got the tweet center as well. Now with the tweet center, you can actually filter this. So I'm just going to click on that button and pull this into the screen. you can filter where you're getting your tweets from or news from via the tweet center here. So for example, I've got tech stocks. If I wanted to enter TechCrunch, or if I wanted to put The Economist also on the list, or if I also wanted to have a look at, Wall Street, what's going on there in terms of a news source, Fox News, Forbes, I can click on any of the options that I want. CNN, CNBC, Bloomberg is also a very, very good one if you're looking at stocks. So you can select where you want your information to come from. The minute you confirm this, what you'll see is that you're then going to have more news come through. I talk a lot about doing research. This kind of stuff is really, really important, particularly if you want to do this properly. You want to be informed on what you're doing. And as you're seeing right here, is you're seeing it update. It's 13 seconds ago, new article from CNN. Now let's talk about actual companies. We looked at Aviva when we were on the website. So let's have a look at Aviva here as well. Now, placing the trade is so simple. You literally click this drop down arrow right there, and you can literally type in the quantity of shares that you want to buy. You can place a market or a limit order right here, and you literally click buy. It is that simple to execute a trade. If you wanted to close your position, you simply click sell. It is really that simple, guys. But one thing that I do want to highlight here is that, if you're looking at news specifically for Aviva, you can click on the eye icon right here, and you've got news specifically for Aviva. So what's going on? What have they been working on? You've got a little bit of an article here. Let me just click on this. I need to bring this into the screen because I'm working on two screens, guys, right? And then you can expand this, and you've got an article available there. You can argue that it's not aesthetically pleasing, but again, it's there for function, not to be visually pleasing. It can be a bit daunting, but once you've worked your way around this, you know what you're looking for, this is really, really valuable stuff. So you've got access to live news right there. Now you can access things like your charts as well. So if I just go back onto this icon right here, actually just close it down, I can right click and I can go charts, right? So when I go charts, this is off screen at the moment. So let me just pull this in. I can expand this, okay? Now this is using candle views at the moment. This is zoomed into 1 minute. So you can adjust the time that you want to have a look at. If you want to look at the last 60 minutes, you can do that. Look at 30 minutes, 15 minutes. If you're trading though and you're scalping, a 1 minute view could be very, very good. A 2 minute view might be really, really good because you're looking for those immediate kind of like swings that you can get your positions in, right? So let me just go out to 30 minutes, for example. You've got the candles. Now this is fully customizable, okay? So for example, at the moment, I'm not quite happy with the way this looks and how it's feeding me information. I can't really zoom into bits and pieces. So I kind of want a crosshair. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click this one right here. So let's select my crosshairs, okay? Now this is looking at a 5-day view. I can go 20 days if I want to, so I can get a really good view out to see what's the trend of this stock at this point in time. I can also have a look at indicators as well. So I've got moving averages. An exponential moving average is a common one that people use because it gives you real-time indication of, how things are actually moving, and it's a bit more reactive than using a simple moving average, for example. Other indicators that I like to have in here, though, are actually subject indicators. I want to see volume. So if I want to see volume, this gives me an idea of what volume is going on at the moment with this. So, and this is fully customizable. So for example, I don't really like that lime green color. So I can right click on this, pull this in from the other screen, and I can actually change that color as well. So if I want a darker green, I confirm that. All of a sudden that number changes. So with the volumes, you can see, I mean, look, what was that? That was on the 10th of March. There was a £9 million pound volume at that particular day. Well, we've got quite a bit of volume in there. It feels like as of yesterday as well, it was 3.9 million. But you can start to see if a stock has been trending for any particular reason, and you can identify when a trend is about to form, just being able to have a look at these kind of like trends and these indicators in here. Now within this, you can also access everything that I showed you on the website, but have a little bit more detail. So you can have a security sheet. Now, when I pull this in, this essentially gives you a breakdown of all of the financials for the actual business as well. So it gives you an idea of where they are in terms of the final balance. It gives you an idea of the earnings per share. It gives you very, very brief synopsis of information that you can use to do very, very quick analysis on a particular stock. You can go onto the profile as well, which will give you a description of the company, a rundown of the company, very, very high level. Then you could go on to here for indicators, gives you rich data. So from how are they actually doing from just, your financial indicators? Where are they? This is the kind of information that you're going to be using to weigh up whether a stock is worthwhile buying for you, whether it's worthwhile trading or not. And again, all of these bits and pieces will be different across if you're using FX, for example, trading currencies, but you still have access to this level of information. You can have a look at this tab as well. You can have a look at the balance sheets right here. You can have a look at the reports, quarterly income statement, quarterly balance sheet, quarterly report. Now, obviously, you need to know how to what these numbers all mean, right? You have to understand that. And look, that's where education comes in. But if you're using and you're looking to invest and trade properly, then this kind of stuff is actually golden, because at the end of the day, you need to have access to these kind of tools. One thing that I do love, and this will be perfect for you if you're working across maybe 2 or 3 screens like I tend to do. So I've got my Mac here, then I've got my screen attached on this side. You're able to break this whole screen into like modules. So for example, if you just click here, which is workspace, this then pulls in this essentially. So what you can then do is you can then configure how you want it to be broken up. So at the moment, you've got a control panel, left panel, watch list, you've got a right panel as well. So if I just do this, what will basically mean is that all of this now breaks off. So I can move that to my second screen. As you can see right there, I can pull it back in. So if you're working in different areas of a screen, I can pull that up here, and off screen for you at this point in time, because I'm recording this, I can pull it up here. I can move things around and have a workspace that essentially works for me. So if you are working off 2 or 3, 4 different screens, you're able to break this into modules and have each of these screens across and to fit where you need it to. If you're working with a professional setup, this is really, really good. And simply to turn that off, you literally click on workspace again. I'll pull that in because it's on my second screen, deactivate. And when I do that, it pulls the whole power desk screen off my screen, but I can always pull it back in right here. It's a bit disorientated for you at the moment because I had this all lined up properly, but I can literally just pull this back into my screen and make it perfect for you guys by literally just downsizing the screen altogether. All right, so that's the power desk, guys. And like I said, look, it may seem quite daunting to start off with because it isn't, I would say, aesthetically pleasing, but it's built for function more than anything else. And with all things new, it takes a little bit of practice for you to get used to it, for you to understand where to go and how things tend to work. I think with these kind of things, it's really important to stress, though, getting access to, the Tweet Center, access to CNBC, CNN, Motley Fool, and getting news from them in real time so you can make an informed decision on whether a stock is the right thing to buy at that given time. Being able to see what the volumes are, being able to see what the moving averages are, what the momentum, what the experts are thinking about a particular stock. That's really important to ensuring that you understand that you're making the right decision and you have confidence in the decision that you're going to make. This is really important stuff, guys. So whilst there might be a little bit of a learning curve and, taking up a new tool, this is where growth happens. This is where you get to develop new skills and new skill sets that are going to benefit you for the future. And I can't stress this enough, guys. Like, professional investment houses pay hundreds and thousands of pounds to use similar tools like this. This is being made available to retail investors at zero additional fee to you. The thing that you need to decide is based on how you want to invest, what you want to trade, or what markets you want to access, is $3.95 or £2.95 a trade, or whatever cost that I've just showed you at the beginning of this video. Is that worth access to the tools that you're getting? I think that's the biggest thing. And again, I've already mentioned this. They're giving you 100 free trades so you can test them out. And you're going to get a bank account with multiple currencies attached to it as well. One thing I haven't shown you actually, which is worthwhile bearing in mind, is with this account at the moment is dominated in British pounds. So this is the balance on the account right now, okay? But if you wanted to trade in dollars, it shows you the euro, the dollar amount as well. So you can actually trade in dollars as well. Same thing with euros. So this is giving you the ability to trade across multiple markets in local currencies as well. This is a great, great tool. And one more thing that I think is really important just to labor home when we talk about the ability to trade in different currencies is that, you know, in comparison to, say, for example, Hargreaves Lansdown, where you're going to pay a transaction fee, you're going to pay a spread, and also the conversion fee for the currency exchange on the way in and on the way out, i.e. when you're buying and selling. With Fineco, you're not going to have that. Yes, they apply a spread to the transaction of the conversion of the currency, but when you look at it in comparison to what other people charge, this is actually really, really competitive in terms of the pricing. And I'm going to leave just a little graphic here just to illustrate that a little bit clearer for you. The same thing applies if you're using eToro. You're going to pay a spread, and you're also going to have to convert your money from euros or pounds into the USD, depending on where you essentially are, because they all trade in USD. You're going to pay a spread, and you're going to also pay a conversion fee for that as well on the currency side. With Fineco, there isn't any of that involved. You're just going to pay a small spread on the actual transaction. But again, you have an account here where you can trade and invest from with 21 currencies pegged to it. So it gives you a lot of leverage, a lot of ability to invest in local markets, different markets around the world, knowing that you're going to be able to keep your costs down. And better yet, they're actually offering you 100 free trades as well by using my link below. All right, so there it is, guys. Let me know what you think of this. Has this been useful? I've been really excited to deliver this to you because I really, really like this tool. And it's one that, you know, I use eToro as well, right? But with eToro, you don't have access to this stuff. It's all very limited. This is professional grade stuff. So I'm really excited to get stuck in using this more. Let me know whether this is something that you would actually pick up, actually learn, whether you think it would actually add value to your investment journey and everything that you're trying to achieve this year on the investment theme. So yeah, leave me a comment in the box. If you've not listened to the podcast already this week, we've got a cracker for you. Make sure you go check that out. And if you've not voted for me already for the Online Influencers of the Year award by the British Bank Awards, there is going to be a link also for you to vote for me. By entering, you also get entered into a prize draw to win £1,000. I appreciate the support. Have an amazing day. Remember, money is a tool, life is for living. I'll catch you next time.